in urban areas, and who, under the guise of the World Cup, are now potentially going to be cleared out. To live in a shack might sound like it's the worst thing in the world, but in fact it's better to live in a shack in an urban area than to live in a house, what they call a house, a small 10 by 10 structure, out in the peri-rural areas where there's really no opportunities at all, right? And they want to they want to improve the shacks. They want electricity, right? They want toilets. There are shacks on the land of the University of KwaZulu-Natal. So when you start supporting shack dwellers, you might actually come to physical contact with the bosses, your own bosses at university, right? So in other words...
And now, like all good things would have to come to an end. And for the next few minutes, what I will be treating you to is a special read from my own essay that concludes, since I'm the editor of the piece, this special issue on socialism and democracy. The name of the essay, for those of you who may want one day to Google me, have an access to this piece and read what I say there, is Moral Economy, an original economic form of the African condition, where I say, math was to ancient Egypt as wisdom was to ancient Greece. Wisdom was to Plato's aristocratic regime as math was to Egypt's social and political life. The concept of math insinuated itself into every aspect of classical Egypt and African civilization, where pharaohs and the majestic slaves who erected the great pyramids swore by math. Rich and poor, men and women, slaves and free citizens worshipped the magic of math. Math was the moral organizer of everyday life, every facet of life in ancient Egypt and African civilization was formed by math. Why did math have such a presence, I asked myself. What was its magical spell? The human self, I argue, required an organizing moral principle. Life could not be lived without a moral frame, a frame that furnished the human self with boundaries and limiting conditions of social action. This was lacking in Egypt until its gods originated the expansive concept of math. Math was symbolized by the feminine principle of truth, by the feminine principle of truth, balance, order, and justice. Math to the ancient Egyptians was harmony, righteousness, patience, and vision, born out of the feminine principle of patient labor. For the ancient Egyptians, the order of the universe was also the ideal order of the human world. For the Greeks, the universe was ordered by logos, by the rational word. It is this order that Plato used in his Republic when he constructed an ideal city out of speech. The principle was later translated into, in the beginning was logos, and the logos was God. Jesus himself was logos. In marked contrast, this is important, for the ancient Egyptians, the organizing principle of logos was replaced by the organizing principle of Maat. The Egyptian city was ruled by kings who personified Maat. The human heart, which was worshipped by the and so on, and thus ended this remarkable evening at Harvard University, in which the leading journal in the country, Socialism and Democracy, celebrated the African crisis. This has been a remarkable evening by your host, Dr. Theodore Kiros. I thank you. Good evening.